Hey everyone, Griever back here, bringing you guys a discussion video today. As you can no doubt tell from the thumbnail, you thirsty people. I know you came here because of that title, and you're here to talk about the best character in all of Seven Deadly Sins, Lord Twiggo. Give it up for Lord Twiggo. Lord Twiggo has done a lot for this series. Yeah, no, we're talking about Escanor. We're talking about Escanor, Lord Escanor. Possibly one of the most OP characters from the get-go that hasn't bothered me. He has not, unlike other characters, which we won't talk about Merlin in this video, don't worry. Unlike other characters, the OP-ness, the brokenness of this character that we all talk about, it doesn't actually break the series. It doesn't actually go against anything that we know. Why? Because Nakaba, for all his faults in the latest arc, for all his faults from chapter 300 on, has not screwed up. He perfectly sculpted a OP character with the right amount of limitation. Because Sunshine, the rising and setting of the sun, decides how OP Escanor is going to be in every given battle. Granted, the fights where he needs to transform and needs to be in the high power, of course, are there. But let me get this straight. Because a lot of times, there has been a couple of fights going on in the series where Escanor is not able to. Why? It happened at night. Simple as that. There has been, since the introduction of Escanor up until now, there have been battles that have taken place at night or at points where Escanor cannot actually fight or do anything. These were not utilized by the antagonists for any type of game because they weren't aware of this ability. However, that doesn't matter. It stems from the fact that not every battle has been decided by Escanor from the chapter he was introduced until now. This is what makes him a compelling character to me. Now, I know that this is not meant to be an Escanor discussion video. That will come out later after the ending of the series, or potentially if we do get this Gaiden chapter next week that everybody's so hyped for. I'm hyped for it if it really is the thing. Are we going to really get the Gowther treatment for Escanor? Because, I hated Gowther before that Gaiden. I love him after it. So you imagine a character I love then getting the Gaiden? There aren't words in the English language to describe it. But yeah, you guys aren't here for this. You guys are here because of the title, about my theory. It's a theory I've had for quite a long time. You guys have watched my reviews. You've seen my 3 to 4 other theory discussion videos about Escanor and Sunshine and etc., right? So, here's the thing. Resurrection and reincarnation, more specifically, are themes of this series. They're in the background a little bit and sometimes at the forefront, but nonetheless, reincarnation is a big thing. Similar to Inuyasha, the old anime of Inuyasha. Reincarnation was a theme there. And reincarnation is a similar theme here. It's not thrown in your face, it's not the main focus, but it's there. Especially with, of course, no doubt, the main character of Elizabeth Leonis herself. Reincarnated over 100 times. Living different lives, however, always finding Meliodas. But that isn't enough, statistically, as in the Watchmen movie, Ozymandias once said to Night Owl, I think it was Night Owl, whatever, said, statistically, one murder doesn't make a trend, or etc., whatever he said. And in this case, you're right. Having one character have a reincarnation problem does not make it a theme of the manga. But we have seen this in other characters, specifically Oslo. Oslo was, of course, Ro. Ro, or Ru, however you want to pronounce his name, was the very much Bond look-alike, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Did I wink on the wrong side and turn my face? Yeah, I did that. Not going to edit it out. So this is a case of now two characters, because we had the Oslo to the rotating thing, to the bond potential thing, and then another one is the repeating cycle of bond with Elaine when it was supposed to be Gloxinia's sister Gerard with Ro this whole time and blah blah blah. So there is repeats of history. There is reincarnation as a bit of a theme here. At least I believe so. It's not a heavy aspect, but it is a theme, and it is an aspect, and it's there. So when I tell you guys that Escanor, out of all the theories, and this might be the wrong one, but I've had multiple theories. You guys know. Go check out the videos. I won't be discussing them here. But suffice to say, Escanor is a reincarnation of either one of two people. The original angel, an equivalent to the original sinner demon, right? The first archangel. He's either a reincarnation of that, or, as I have always said, this is my more likely one, he is the reincarnation of the first wielder of the sun, the grace, the sun. Because you have to remember, demons and goddesses existed for quite a long time, right? They've existed for thousands and thousands of years. The Holy War might not have started yet, but whatever, there's still skirmishes. And we know from seeing flashbacks that Mael was born in a weak, small child, while Elizabeth and Ludoshel, at the very least, were full grown by this point. So that begs the question, especially with the power balance of the series, 10 versus 4. 4 graces, quality over quantity, 10 commandments. It's an even clash, or supposedly. It keeps the balance. If that were the case, right? If this were the case, and until Miles, the logic here just doesn't add up for me. The 4 graces needed to exist when the 10 commandments were created. And the 10 commandments were created all at once. There were 10. Regardless whether the sinner obtained that original half and blah, 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 what happened, there must have been either a goddess, an archangel, whatever, that had the equivalent of the 4 graces to combat the sinner, or there was 4 graces split up like they currently are in 4 archangels. Now, the thing is that Mael had sunshine. But Mael, as we saw, was a young child at some point. So the graces weren't created by that point? Or the graces, there was 3 versus 10? Well, that throws the balance of power totally out of whack. I mean, we can all argue that it's like 2.25 grace versus, the commandment, but it doesn't work with 3. Because otherwise, once sunshine was created, let's go on a limb here. Let's say sunshine did not exist, 3 archangels versus 10 commandments. Okay, then by the time Mael exists with supposedly the strongest grace, should have been an easy victory, right? See how it doesn't really add up? So this is what I'm talking about. This is what makes me believe that there was a wielder, the original wielder of sunshine, of the grace, the sun, before Mael. And before this, who is this person? I'm not going to speculate here. Simply a goddess, probably either, if not the original goddess, the original archangel, the first. Could be a lot of people. Could be a no-name character. We don't really know. Could be Rosa. I've always been under the impression that Rosa is sunshine itself. Go check out the theory video about that. But either way, this is the only logical conclusion I can reach, assuming that we're working in that realm of logic. So, that being said, and it would explain so many things, wouldn't it? This reincarnation theory that Escanor is the reincarnation of either the first archangel or the original wielder, or both, of sunshine, makes sense for so many reasons. Number one, all the dialogue we have gotten that actually has created a problem in the current power scaling of the series right now. For example, at the very beginning of the introduction of the Archangels, and we had Ludoshel take over Margaret's body and such, right? But even, let's go back further. Let's do this chronologically. Before that, we had multiple of the 10 Commandments themselves wondering how this person is human. I can't believe this person is human. This level of power in a human is not possible. And we thought we had summarized all this when we realized this power was the grace of sunshine. However, that came with a bit of a hiccup, a bit of a little fine print. It's like, okay, so we can explain away why Escanor is so leaps and bounds ahead of people as a mere human. Why the commandments are just like, how is this even possible? You're not human. You can't be human with this level of power. We got the answer. The answer was the grace. Okay, makes sense. But in that same chapter, we get the information that, no, that's an issue. As Ludoshel points out himself, a grace, human, it's not going to happen. It would tear you apart if you tried to wield that grace. If you initially, it seemed to be described as if you were to take a grace and put it into a human, that human would basically combust. Maybe take an hour, maybe take a day, maybe take a month, but they would just literally cannot contain the power of a grace. This is the power of a god. And then we got the explanation of, well, at the very least, it's killing you, right? But he survived 40 years in a human body with this, right? So we still don't have an answer. We might get this next week. Why do you think I'm making the video now? But this is something that's still odd to this day. Escanor, according to Ludoshel, should not be able to even have the grace, let alone the fact that Escanor himself has not only kept possession of it, but utilized it. He can actually use the magic. He can go into the one form. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is bounds ahead of what Ludoshel claimed. Ludoshel couldn't believe that a human could contain a grace because it would blow them up pretty much. And now we're getting the fact that Escanor went one step beyond that, and yet we still don't have an answer. He's still a human. Okay? Something else must be going on. Then we get, between this, we get the Mael is Esterosa reveal, right? And even further, more what we're getting is more about the commandments themselves. The commandments we've seen have had a conscience. We saw this when Gauther entered Mael Esterosa's mind and in their battle. And so we know that they actually have a conscience. We also got, after the defeat of the Demon King, Meliodas Demon King, the first time after chapter 300, Bane of My Existence, either way, after this point, we see that Merlin and Gauth are talking about the commandments themselves, what's happening. When that rock tried to destroy Elizabeth, they said, well, this is impossible. How could this be possible? They realized even if the commandments were whisked away and stuff, they couldn't actually possess a body. Because if a commandment tried to enter a human, a giant, a tree, a forest, it wouldn't matter. It would burst it apart because non-superpowered, basically, beings cannot contain the power of a commandment. We can assume the similarity because they are a yin-yang system of the grace, the same idea. So when the grace entered Escanor at some point, who was, once again, some people are going off the limb that he's a half-god, like a demigod or something. The problem with that is he was born to two human parents, right? He was born to two human parents. And he clearly didn't have this problem. I mean, God forbid he was birthed at high noon or something, right? I mean, we can take a little bit of the Izagni Exami with the fire god thing from Japanese mythology with that one, burning her all to hell, the moment he's born. We know for a fact that Escanor didn't actually activate sunshine for the first time until he was a small child. So when he was a baby, it wasn't there. Clearly, it couldn't have been, because they would have noticed that long before. He would have set his crib on fire. So this is something that was given or activated at the very least later on. So that's just, all of this evidence just points to the fact that Escanor is no mere human. And another factor is, even if none of this holds up to be true, even if my theory of the reason does not hold up to be true, remember this grace of sunshine left Mael when he became Estarossa over 3,000 years ago. And that grace searched the earth for over 3,000 years and chose Escanor. And for some reason, beyond our current knowledge, Escanor was able to contain it. So sunshine as a grace, as we were pointed out, the commandments, even if they had tried to enter multiple humans and stuff, it would have done them no better. It wouldn't have turned them into a zombie. It wouldn't turn them into a host they could control. It would have burst apart, and it's useless. So the commandments, while fading out of existence, needed to find a host that could actually contain them. And sunshine needed the same idea. The sun, the grace of the sun, needed to find a vessel that could actually contain it. And it found Escanor. You have to wonder why. You have to wonder why. This is where my evidence starts to stack up a little bit. You see what I'm saying? You see how I've been leading you on this journey to this point. And now we get the latest chapter with Escanor going the one form and stuff. But even before that, let's just jump. One other caveat that people have an issue with is Escanor fighting toe-to-toe with the Demon King. That is an issue. But in my mind, it is a power scaling issue from the Demon King, not from Escanor. Escanor has stayed consistent throughout the entirety of the series. The Demon King has not. The Demon King went from changing the actual domain of his existence and all this stuff to being fisticuffs with Bond. Yet you lead me to believe that it's okay for him to not go fisticuffs with Escanor. This is where it's a Demon King problem, not a problem with, it's not a problem with Bond or actually any of the sins. It's a problem with how the Demon King has handled the attacks of the sins has been the power scaling issue. But outside of that, we had, once again, dialogue from a different Archangel this time, not from Ludishel, but from Mael, the wielder of sunshine himself. We got to stop listening to these Archangels because they clearly don't know shit about Escanor. We have Ludishel saying that it's not possible Escanor's alive because the grace should have blown him to bits, the moment he tried to touch it. Clearly 40 years strong, proven wrong. And then we have Mael here. Mael came down in chapter 317 and to help out a weak Escanor. And he said, listen, I can't fight the Demon King. And this is a little bit, not much. We saw the weakness before, but this is before we saw the heavy nerfed Demon King at the time, and we could kind of accept that and go, okay, yeah, Mael, even with the sun, even maybe with the one form, isn't powerful enough to fight a god. We understood that. We knew that. That was okay before we found out that the Demon King is, well, not on that level. But that's a problem with Nakaba and the Demon King. So Mael himself states this, and then he says, you want my help here? Sure, but I'm not fighting the Demon King. I can't fight him. It's impossible for me. We can summarize that in the hands of a Archangel like Mael, that Sunshine would be even stronger than it ever was with Escanor. Even I, as an Escanor fanboy, accept that fact. Unless my theory here is proven correct, and then everyone can shut the fuck up. So, here we have Mael state this, and we can accept this fact. Then Escanor says, well, I don't want you to fight him. I'll take it, sort of idea. And Mael says, yeah, but if you try to use Sunshine one more time, you're going to die and stuff, right? And Mael says, he gives him a little hope, saying, high noon is soon, so you might stand at least half a second of a chance. And we actually see Mael in this battle overlooking it, going, I can't help, I can't help. And it's like, okay. He couldn't help before with Sunshine. He can't, even though he witnesses Escanor fight. Okay, here's the major issue. This is the last little part of the video. Is Mael gives Escanor Sunshine, knowing it's going to kill him. And he states that he himself cannot fight the Demon King when he possesses it. Next chapter, well, a few chapters later, we see Escanor actually going toe-to-toe with help from Bon and King, but holding back the Demon King. Okay. And then we see Mael looking on, watching Escanor do his job, and still hold back and go, no, I can't get involved. Well, dude, with your current power, which I assume is not like nighttime Escanor level while in just regular Archangel form without a grace, I'm assuming you're still a pretty hefty combatant, and then you take away... So this is where I hold very little faith, or very little, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't hold any weight to the words of the archangels or the goddesses in this series. Because every single time they state a fact, it's literally proven wrong by people literally being alive. Ludoshel is proven wrong because Escanor is alive and still alive. Mael has been proven wrong, at least for one thing, because it's impossible for him to fight the Demon King. Well, Escanor is fighting the Demon King, and last time I checked, he's kicking his ass. At the very least, he's fighting toe-to-toe, and then he just went Legendary Super Saiyan on him. He pulled a Broly. So he went the 1 times 2. Kaioken version, Super Saiyan 2, the 2, the Legendary 2, is what Escanor just did in the last chapter. So, forgive me guys, but I am going to stop listening to the Archangels because they've been reading textbooks from, 100 AD while we're still here in 2019. They still don't believe gravity exists. They can't understand why the apples are falling from the tree, and we're sitting back here with all the knowledge and all the textbooks and Wikipedia to look it up. So, they just seem so antiquated. Like their dialogue, and we trust. That's the problem. We trust in the goddesses' words, but they're antiquated. They're wrong. Their facts have been disproven at almost every level. Even Nerabasta and stuff. Like, every single time a goddess states a fact, it's basically been proven either questionable at the best and just flat out wrong from the get-go. And this has created an issue with the community because then we are still riding on the fact that Mael himself said that Escanor, that he can't fight the Demon King. We see in a few chapters later Escanor fighting the Demon King, and people call bullshit. I don't call bullshit on Escanor. I call bullshit on Mael. And that's where people are missing that little, at least in my opinion. So this all summarizes in the end of the last chapter. We get Escanor in, as I said, the legendary form of the one, the legendary Super Saiyan. We get the Broly treatment here. He's gotten bigger. He's towering. He's bigger than he ever was in the one, which was stupid big. And now he's even bigger, towering over the Demon King. He's flamed on even higher than before. What does this mean? What does it entail? I have no idea. I'm excited. I'm assuming because Rita, remember the axe Rita, it was constantly absorbing sunshine from Escanor and containing it. That's what the axe did. It helped mediate his power. Think Thor's hammer. Thor Ragnarok. Anybody seen Thor Ragnarok? Think Thor's hammer. That is literally what Escanor's axe was. And now he's basically going 100%. He's not being slowly drained at the same time of fighting. He's at 100% and he's been fighting. That's my reasoning for how he's able to fight the Demon King right now, up until this point. And then of course the 1 form happened, and now the 2 form happened. Why the 2 form? You could argue that maybe he's pushing the limits because he knows he's going to die anyway, so he's using 101% sort of idea of sunshine. He's using it all. He subconsciously held it back because he knew it was using his life force. He knew he was slowly dying. It was going to kill him. So he tried to mediate it as much as he could. But right now in the conclusion battle, he's just going all in. All the chips are in. It's all or nothing. A little bit of that, maybe. But I'm thinking Nakaba has a better reason. And once again, my theory, my conclusion, is that he is a reincarnation of the first Archangel or the first wielder of sunshine or both. That's my favorite theory right now that I have. Of course, I have other theories about the capacity that Rosa is sunshine and stuff, and that kind of idea. Or, of course, Escanor could be a multitude of different things. He could have that trait, like sort of like a Kingdom Hearts thing, like one of the princesses of Heart. Well, this time he's like the Prince of Hearts or something. It could be something else. He could be a reincarnation of somebody else, maybe not one of the two people I said, but I believe there's more to this story. He's not just a regular human. He might be a regular human now, similar to the way that Elizabeth Leonis is just a regular human. But when she unlocks her goddess memories and powers, she starts getting more and more powerful. It's one of those things, and then we find out that she's the reincarnation of a goddess herself. It wouldn't go outside of the box of what Taizai or Seven Deadly Sins has shown us thus far. So that's basically all the evidence that I have for this review. I know it was a little haphazard because I was jumping around and realized, I could talk about this. But that's basically my theory. I wanted to get this video out before the next chapter drops because I really want this to make sure that I didn't like read some raws or scans and be like, I've been saying this the whole time. Because I have been, guys. You can go check back at my older reviews, Grim Reaper's Discord and the Seven Deadly Sins chat. You can go check my theory videos because I did mention this a couple of times before. But just to be on the safe side and keep current, I thought I'd make this little video here to discuss it once again. Escanor is a reincarnation of the first Archangel or the wielder of sunshine or both. That's the statement I'm making right now. We're going to find out in the next few weeks here if my theory holds true or not. Hopefully, I really hope we find out the full backstory of Escanor, why he can contain sunshine, why all this stuff, because I do believe that Nakaba planned up to about 90% of this stuff. I think he faltered at chapter 300 on, but up until that point, he had a plan, and it was solid up until then. Fairly solid. Deanne, we can forget about, and Merlin, but it was solid for the male characters for the most part, and it could be wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow. So he's got something planned for Escanor in the next couple of chapters. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? And what do you think of this theory? Do you want to add to it? Do you want to say, hey, there's one other point I think you should take out? Or do you want to add a point? Do you want to subtract a point and reason with me? Whatever. Guys, you guys know I always like and heart and comment. When you guys comment, I always try to start a discussion. I always try to make sure that I respond to all your points and stuff like that. So make sure this video gets plenty of likes, plenty of views, and a big comment section. I want to hear your guys' theories as well. Don't think you just have to talk about what I've talked about in this video. If you have an outlandish theory that Escanor is the hero of time in disguise and he's actually a lizard the whole time, hey, tell me about it. Tell me your reasoning behind it. Give me some proof and we can discuss it. You know, I don't care, guys. I want to hear all the theories because this is one of the things that's still keeping Seven Deadly Sins strong with all the bullshittery that has been going on in the series as of late. So, that being said, guys, this has been Griever with a not behind the bar reviews and more of a theory/discussion video. So, like, comment, subscribe as always, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will, even though it's not behind the bar, we will drink responsibly this Thursday night. Go Green Bay Packers because I picked them in my pool. And we'll see you back here next time, guys. Peace out.